Hi everyone. So this is Rabbi Light. This is an updated video for what you need to do for tomorrow and to submit to me to get credit for tomorrow because this is not something that I'll know if you've done in time. You need to know that I'm checking this tonight at midnight. So I'm looking and I'm going to check for on-time work tonight at midnight, 12 o'clock. I've got some late nights for me preparing for all these seders, and I hope you'll put in some extra time as well, understanding that they're important to me, and I hope that they'll be important to you. So I'm going to go through kind of a seder. This is one of the groups, but it's very similar since we're all doing the fight for freedom, and you'll know what you need to do on yours. So first of all, just one thing that you need to know is tomorrow in class, you're going to spend 40 minutes basically planning your Seder. The Seder is running from 12 to 1. However, you're going to need to get to your rooms at about at 11:15. Boxes will be in your room with A, the Seder plate, B, the all the items you need to place on that Seder plate, um, and the afikomen, and other stuff if you need it or you're bringing it yourself. If there are things that the reason that I needed to actually, even though we talked about how to transform different foods, I ended up having to buy all those foods because now the Seder's after lunch, so we have to worry about whether it's a meat meal and a meat or a milk meal. And because it's a meat meal, we have to make sure that all of our items that we bought can no longer be dairy at all and need to be parve, which limits the kind of things. And you'll see that as I show you the Seder plate in a little bit. Secondly, at 11:25, so we have lunch from 11 to 12. I'm hoping that you'll get to your room with your groups at 11:25. You'll hide your afikomen either in the room or outside somewhere, so you'll have to kind of explain how you're going to do that and kind of begin setting up your Seder, which means A, filling up the glasses to the amount needed, B, um, um, and what is that amount? Hold on, I have it right here. Right? So you'll get enough cups in your room that have a cup like this. And so each time, instead of having 4 cups, you're going to drink kind of the equivalent of a certain amount for a cup. Then you're going to basically set up the room. You might need to reset the room in a certain way so people can have a more enjoyable experience. Tomorrow in your class, as you run through kind of how you're going to run your Seder, each of these pieces need to be filled out. Kind of what's happening, who's doing it, what's happening, who's doing it. Okay, as you know, there are some sing along with Rabbi Light parts, and these are all videos as well. So that's going to help you run your Seder. Some of you know the songs, some of you don't, but by having me sing them on video will certainly help you out a bit as well. I've set up now the slides in the order that you can run a normal Seder with, and you'll be adding certain parts. Obviously, in this video, you're all going to be adding. I'm going to tell you how you're all going to add things, and you're going to write your name to show that's your slide. But as you sit down on Wednesday to meet and talk about how you're going to run the Seder, you might want to pick either one of the slides from your group and say we're going to go with that one, or you might want to say let's kind of combine them in some way. That's going to be your 40-minute job on Wednesday. Additionally, the edpuzzle that would be due next week is being in lieu of that. Your team needs to sign up with me on Wednesday night to go over the flow of your Seder. So that's going to be a Zoom, and I sent you a link to that Zoom. And you need to kind of figure out what time works for you and your groups. You're going to have to talk to each other about that. But obviously, your participation, your on time being there is worth 30 points, and then the quality of your participation during that time is also worth 30 points as well. All right, so let's move on. So the first thing that happens at the Seder is the order of the Seder. That's just kind of a singing piece with me. Next is the first blessing over our wine. There's going to be 4 blessings over the wine. Your wine, even though you may have an idea of what you wanted that wine to be, The wine that we're going to use is some kind of mixture of like cranberry juice and soda. Okay, but again, when you come into the room, you're going to fill that up with. Okay, so here we go. And then next you have your blessing over the wine using that passive asun. Yadadam da da da, yadadam da 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 da, yadadam da 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 da. Okay, and then you drink only to that, the first cup. We're going to skip hand washing, which usually have. Then you're going to dip karpas into salt water. Basically, this is a part of the Seder. You're dipping hope into sadness. And what I have to represent hope or parsley is good and plenty. Why? Because the name of that, good and plenty. And we're going to dip that into actual salt water. So you're going to have little cups, 18 cups with place to place your salt along your salt water. You'll have a bag with salt water that you can just kind of load into those cups. Okay, just to show you, here is the Seder plate itself. You'll each be getting one of these. This is what I have for each of these things. I'm just going to explain it really quickly. There's the food of hope, which we said get in plenty. Food of bitterness, which is hot tamales we're using here. A dip or sauce that represents hard work. We're using marshmallow fluff. That's probably not the right thing, but it's parve. It's not dairy, and it could be a good dip. You're going to have normal matzah, and you're gonna have these kind of gummy sour ropes, because kind of like rope is kind of a way to protection, right? If you throw someone a rope, you're basically saying, here, I can help you, I can protect you. You're gonna have a normal piece of salt, and you can ask the kids themselves. Either you can explain this at some point when it comes to explaining the Seder plate itself. That's come till later, or you can have them kind of say, why do we choose this? Why do we not choose this? Okay. Next, hiding afikomen. You've already done that at your Seder, so you can tell them about it later. Go find the afikomen slide. Okay, and this is really the crux of the Seder, telling the story of slavery and freedom. So there's the Avadim Hayinu songs, we were slaves, and then here we go. So you've all decided to do something with this where we cut up these sheets and they're trying to place it in order, and I match the description to the picture of this slide and this slide. Um, and I'll make sure you have that in your box. Okay, the next thing is kind of these opportunity for who am I. So you're gonna call people up, and or who can squeeze the buzzer. Now I don't have buzzers, so if you want to use the whole noise maker kind of idea, you're gonna have to bring those in for some kind of noise maker or something to use for your group. I don't have that. I do have tickets for those people who need it, but you're gonna have to bring in your own buzzer. So we have these, and this is just a fun opportunity to get people thinking about the story itself. Who am I? 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 Okay, and now we have our four Manishtana questions. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to read through this and to develop your own four questions that come from this. Now, you may have the kids at your Seder also do this as well, or you may not. But this is really the crux of at least the learning piece of about what the story is all about, your specific piece, and you need to have four questions that come from this. So this is your first task of the day. Task number one is list the four questions about the fight for freedom that come after reading this. Okay, and that's task number one for the day. Okay. So you each have one of those. Write your name on the top. Okay, and then here we have sing along with Rabbi Light, the Manishtana. Now we have a digging deeper section. When we think of Israelites fighting freedom, major questions that come up for us and major themes that come up with us. This is your second task of the day to fill out this. Okay. You can have one or two for each of these. Okay. The next is the question that we've all proposed. Why did God just inflict one major plague? Why did there need to be 10? Each of you need to, this is task number 3. Each of you need to answer this question on the Google slide with your name. At the Seder itself, they will go ahead and other people can say, you might want to ask, like, who do we agree with? Who do we not agree with? Who agrees with me? Who doesn't? You can kind of almost take like a tally. That'll get kids talking. After that, you have this song, and you're going to kind of have to ask why that is. Then we have this, if Israelites had Amazon Prime and Spotify, you're going to, on this slide, show me the pictures of 5 things from Amazon Prime that might help Israelites with freedom. include the picture and the price, and write your name so I know that you did that. That's your task number 4 for the day. Task number 5, give 2 songs. Each of you give 2 songs for the fight for freedom and why, with an explanation. That's task number 5 today. 10 plagues in Dayenu. Transforming your 10 plagues. So your idea is, your topic is the fight for freedom. Okay. And basically what I want you to do is, if your topic is the fight for freedom, and you have to ask yourself, what are the plagues about? The plagues were around, were a kind of a God basically trying to change the opinion of Pharaoh, right? So plagues are a bad thing in one sense, plagues, but actually they are the attempt of God to get Pharaoh to believe in God, okay? So when I want you to transform plagues, I want you to list, what are 10 things that you can do or that could be done to make someone who does not believe, to make someone who has one opinion to change their opinion and change their ideas. So that's what I want for your plagues this year. 10 things that will change the opinion of someone who thinks one way to another. How do you do that? God used might and force and horrible things. What would you use? That's what I want for your 10 plagues. Write your name on your slide and write the 10 things you would think of. Okay, that's task number 6, I believe. Okay. Next, we have a little video of Ahisha Amda from these kids, but we also have a question that needs to be answered. The words, and this is a question that I'd like you to answer. In the slide deck, you'll see a place for it. The Vahisha Amda question. And that's your task number 7, right? The words of the song you just heard speak about how God has helped us at each moment when others have tried to destroy us. But is this really true? Has God always been there for us? And if not, this is not true, then why would we sing a song like this at our Passover Seder? Again, you're going to give, just like you did back here, answers to the question. You're going to have that also slide. I just haven't developed it yet, but it will be developed. Okay. Um, After that, um, let's forget about Dayenu and just sing Dayenu. I think this one is too hard, so I'm going to get rid of this. Get rid of Dayenu's slide, but we can just sing Dayenu. Okay. Um, so that's not a task we're doing, but I'll have a little introduction for it. Now, basically, you're explaining the Seder plate. Now, I know that Keshet came up with another idea for the food of hope, right? She came up with Toblerone. So what I'd like you to do is to place possible pictures that you would have chosen for these foods, even if I wasn't choosing. And that's where you're going to place in the green spot. So it's going to be like, okay, Rabbi Light chose that because he had some constraints. But if I had no constraints at all, what would be the thing that I would choose? And I'm placing that in the green. You'll see a slide for each of you. That is your task number. That's your task number 8. The Seder plate, giving other symbols. Seder plate, other symbols. Okay. Then you've got another blessing over the wine. You've got a drinking the wine. Then you've got kind of the afikomen, and you're going to kind of also show us. So so you have the afikomen. You'll just kind of explain your rules for the afikomen and how you can find it, and then we have Elijah and my dreams of utopia. So this is your task number 9, which is we invite Elijah to our seder because the tradition is that when Elijah comes, he will announce that the Mashiach or Messiah is coming to create a world of perfection. So the question is, what does a world of perfection look like? Consider your topic of focus, which is the fight for freedom, and ask about the perfect world that's needed to the situation like so well, actually, no. So what does a world of perfection look like to you? And since your topic is a fight for freedom, what you need to do is you need to ask yourself, what is the perfect fight for freedom. What does that look like, right? Like, what's a good fight versus what is a bad fight? And right, and so you're going to have to kind of talk about that and give some ideas about that. You'll each have a slide for that. That's Elijah, that's your task number 9. Oh, no, sorry, it's right here. You have like place your what is the best kind of fight for freedom? Write your answer right there. That's task number 9. You've got it. Sing along, Elijah, and drink the rest of your wine, and then we just have fun songs at the end that you can actually use. So there are 9 steps that you need to have done by 12 o'clock tonight. Again, I'm looking for I'll try to grade that even before class, but certainly I'll look for on time at 12 if you've handed it in by then. Great. Good luck, everyone.